almost remarriage as an economia, as a mercy, because of our human weaknesses and our failings. That brings us to divorce. As I said, marriage in its essence is indissoluble. And divorce, according to the church, is a sin and it's evil. Marriages weren't meant to end in divorce. But divorce happens. And so normally when two people divorce in the Orthodox Church, there is a time of penance when both people in that relationship will refrain from receiving Holy Communion for a time. And then after a time of healing, they're allowed to receive communion. Now if they want to remarry, there's usually a process. They have to petition the archdiocese, and it has to be granted, and then there is a marriage, a wedding. Just as a reminder, though, marriage, the second marriage is not as joyful as the first marriage.
Is the ceremony the same?
The ceremony is in a way the same, but there is a prayer that the priest will say before the crowning, which asks God to forgive the couple of their sins, if any sin was committed, and that as sort of a reminder that what they're doing really isn't meant to be, I guess, but that this is something that the church has allowed as a mercy. And so, marriage, second and third marriages are an economia, a mercy. And again, remarriage is allowed up to 2 times. 3 strikes, you're out. You can't get married, you can't have a church wedding. Now, that brings me to divorce. Some of the things that will end a marriage. And I can discuss this with you right now. There are several things that will kill a marriage. And this is what I tell people in premarital counseling. The first one that will kill marriage is sex. Sex will kill marriage. Now, don't take that wrong. Because sex is necessary in marriage. But if 2 people get married just because they're attracted to each other, statistically, how long will they stay together? Guess. 2 years. That's right, 2 years. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, 2 years. Sex will only fuel a marriage for about 2 years. If the couple doesn't have anything in common, if they can't relate to anything, if they can't get beyond sex, it only lasts 2 years.
Well, what I thought you were going to say, maybe you are going to say, is that disagreements about sex, about what to do, when to do, etc., could become pretty nasty.
Could become a problem. It could become very nasty. That's why if the marriage doesn't have any other foundation, it just comes apart. Now, another thing that will kill marriage is money. What to do about money? Where do we invest our money? Having too much money, having too little money, things like that. That's why I normally always, when we do premarital counseling, I always discuss, planning a budget and adhering to a budget. Even if that couple is very, very wealthy, I tell them you need to plan a budget. Because then you get into other aspects as to what are we going to do with our money? And are we all going to? And I had one couple get into a fight over this. Are we going to purchase the same hygiene products, or are we going to have his and her shampoo? I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I mean, this was like a serious thing.
But fights can break over real trivialities.
Right. And again, this gets into the aspect of living together again.
Our first fight was over Christmas ornaments. I don't remember what we were disagreeing about. But it was over Christmas ornaments, and we realized, oh my gosh, we've just had a fight.
Right, we're arguing about Christmas ornaments.
Yes, I have no idea what the issue was.
And the third one is children. Not to say that, I mean, I believe that the ultimate byproduct of marriage should be children, but oftentimes you'll see marriages struggle when there's usually infertility issues, or you know, when children get older and what to do about children, and so it's always good to be in concert as to what to do.
Wife or you and your husband have strong disagreements or different ways in which you interact with the children.
Right.
The children know that, and they will play.
Yes,
they
they'll
will
play.
upon your differences and your struggles.
So
They'll know that mom will say yes for certain things at certain times, and
Dad
dad will say yes for other
certain
things at other
times.
times.
right.
And they will work that.
And they'll play off each other though. I mean, I did to my mom and dad all the time. Well, you know, Dad, Mom lets Brandy do these things. Why can't I? Oh, okay, well, you're right about that. And then my mother would just be like, what?
My parents were very good about that. They would never give an answer without consulting each other.
Right.
And they, you know, my mother would say, have you asked your father? And he would say the same the other way. And so I tried, but
I mean,
never worked.
While he's not very popular in the media right now, I always like Bill Cosby's stand-up comedy from the 1970s, or I think it was early 80s, about, you know, parenthood and, you
The late nights.
know. Right. Well, there's going to be a beating
Yeah,
tonight.
that was exactly our house.
But
You didn't see footprints,
Uh-huh.
like you knew there was gonna be a spanking. You didn't know it was gonna be. But if you had to get up out of bed and go into the other room, you knew someone was gonna get it.
But moreover, he says that Bill Cosby calls the father's the genius in the house. That's the genius at work. Because you know, the kids will ask him a question, he'll be like, where's your mother? Because,
I just knew one marriage that one of the reasons it broke up, there were others, but was that they had a child, and one parent bonded with that child to an amazing degree, and the other felt left out.
right. And one of the worst things that you can do, and I've seen this done, the worst thing to do is to have a child to save a marriage.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that
That's the
too,
worst thing that you can do.
and people do that.
And people do that. Great, you know. That'll be very hard for the little boy and little girl growing up to find out that I exist merely just to save my parents' crumbling marriage. You know, get your house sorted before you have kids.
I would think if you were having difficulties anyway, that children couldn't help but exacerbate it
No.
in every way.
No, and I'll say this as a man who, I mean, we were married for quite some time before we had children, mainly because there were difficulties. But my life went crazy after we had Joanna. In a good way. I'm not saying that it was a bad way, but in a good way, because it does complicate things.
Well, you lose control.
You lose control. There are things that we can't do that we used to be able to do, like travel. We can't travel anymore that much. You know, we used to go to Japan, we went to Syria, went to Europe, went to France. Can't do that anymore. You know, you can't drag a screaming toddler through this. I guess you could. You could drag a screaming toddler through the streets of Tokyo. they might all look at her like Godzilla, but you just can't do that, you know. Or going out to eat, you know, because
Yeah.
you know we went out to eat with you and Gail, and Joanna was just, you know, they're just things that we can't do now. I mean, I guess you know how much stand-up comedy I watch, but Wanda Sykes, you know, would always say, you know, about children and expenses and whatnot, and she would say, yeah, we wanted to go to Jamaica on vacation, but you know, we had to get Lucy some braces. Lucy, smile and show them Jamaica. So, you know, when you have children, it complicates things, because now you're no longer, your will is even more divided, because now you're no longer just living for your wife, you're living for a wife and something else.
Well, and if the marriage is bad, you're simply adding to the casualty list.
Right.
To give a contrasting example, I have an aunt and uncle, and they were at the point of getting divorced. They settled that they were going to split apart, but they didn't because of the children. They said, well, we're going to remain together.
They already had the children.
They already had the children. They had 3 children. And they said, we're going to remain together until the children move out.
And did they divorce after the children?
They did not. They got over it.
Interesting.
By that time, I don't know the details of the struggle that they were going through, but by the time the children moved out, they stayed together. And they have a wonderful relationship to this day, which is interesting.
Well, if they were selfless enough to say, we're going to stay together for the sake of the children, that in itself would provide them with the means of overcoming their difficulties.
Yes. And I think a lot of time itself, if you're willing to endure time itself and to seek forgiveness, it's amazing how things do heal.
Well, having been married 48 years, I know that you rub alongside each other like 2 stones, and you wear a smooth, polished surface there. And you know, as time goes on, as you spend all these years together, go through all these experiences together, you become more attached. And we are much more attached to each other now than we were in our 20s. And it's just, I can see that if a couple is unselfish enough to decide to stay together, I'm sacrificing me for the sake of the children. That the roots of what will heal that relationship are there.
Yes, yes.
Most divorces happen when people say, I have to think about me ahead of not only you, but the children.
Yes.
And it's interesting, you know, watching people grow old, and you know, even as I'm coming up on my 9th year of marriage, 9 years, and you know, I'm coming up on my 9th year, and just, I guess, how accepting you become of the other person, you know, with their foibles and complications and things like that. I remember this was in my 2nd year of marriage, and we were living in Houston, and I was waiting outside at the church at St. Joseph's, and I was honking my horn. I was waiting on my wife to come, and there was an old man, and he was a widower. He came out, and he was like, "Where are you honking your horn?" I said, "I'm waiting on my wife to come, you know. I need to go." And he grabbed my hand and he said, "Cherish this moment," because he said, "I would give anything to sit in my car and wait on my wife and wait for her to come out of that church." And it just sort of, you know, hit me, you know, right there in the gut. Because that's really, you know, saying something that you would, you know, you long, you know, after a spouse has died, long for the inconvenience.